and I'm joined this afternoon by Chu Edwards from Maggies Centres. We have a Maggies Centre through in Kirkcaldy. Is that where you're based, Chu?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Well, the centre's there, yes.
Now, first of all, just in case anybody's listening in online just now and they don't actually know, what are Maggies Centres?
Well, the best way to describe the Maggies Centres is a place for anybody affected by cancer. So the person who is diagnosed with cancer or their friends and family. What we offer there is a drop-in service, so people could come and speak about any information or advice that they need about cancer. But we also provide the practical, emotional and social support that people with cancer need as well.
Your job title is community fundraiser. What does that role entail?
So that role entails going out, trying to raise as much money as possible to sustain our centre here in Fife. Maggies Fife does support anybody affected by cancer across the kingdom, of course. So we're out and about all around the kingdom trying to raise money, contact businesses, local people to help support us, really.
Obviously fundraising a big thing. What projects have you got up and running just now?
Well, actually it's funny that you should ask, because we have our birthday actually coming up next week. We're celebrating our 6th birthday, so we've actually been operating in the kingdom for the last 6 years, and that's on the 3rd of November, Saturday the 3rd of November at Maggies Fife at the Victoria Hospital in Kirkcaldy, and it's from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We're holding a Mad Hatter's tea party. Wow. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have tea, we're going to have a Mad Hatter's tombola, we're going to have prize for the best hat, and lots of different activities going on. So anybody is welcome. We'd love to invite anybody who's listening who'd like to come along to come and join us for this fantastic tea party to celebrate.
How much money do you hope to raise on the day? We
are trying to raise at the moment to support our birthday £3,000, because it costs £3,000 to run a Maggies Centre per day.
Wow.
So we're trying to raise about £3,000 at the moment to help sponsor our birthday, and if anybody does want to give a donation, they could either pop in to the centre with that donation, or they could send it to Maggies at the Victoria Hospital, Hayfield Road, KY2 5AH.
So the money you raise, you're talking £3,000 a day to run one of the centres. How is the money actually spent? What's it spent on?
So it's spent on really providing the service that we provide. So we have cancer information specialists, for example, who have a wealth of experience in lots of different cancers. They could answer different questions about any kind of cancers, really, and support people if they just drop in and they want to have a chat and a cup of tea. It doesn't necessarily have to be about cancer. It could be about how you're feeling about yourself. Maybe you've recently lost your hair or something like that, and you feel that you need to rebuild your confidence. We're here to support you. We also have hair loss programs as well, and stress management courses, nutrition courses, and we have a range of different things to help people regain that confidence back.
So you've got all these different things happening in one centre.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere online people can find out about all the different services you offer?
We have a website, and that's maggiescentres.org, and if people go on there, they can have a look at our centres. If they just click on that tab, and then they can click onto the Fife Centre, and they can see all the different activities that are happening at the Maggies Centres.
From the way you're speaking, I'm kind of reading into this a little bit. What you're saying overall is there's a benefit to people affected by cancer, whether they have cancer or a relative. There's a benefit from that social environment as well as medical treatment.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what the hospital staff do to support people medically is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we have world-class, second to none medical care in this country, which is fantastic. Maggies really complements what the medical profession does, where we can spend time with people, sit with them, speak to them, deal with the emotional, psychological aspects of living with the disease or caring for somebody with a disease. You know, we have the time and the resources to be able to do that, and that very much complements what the medical profession does. On one hand, you've got the medical profession providing the treatment, and on the other hand, you have Maggies here in Fife supporting people through the emotional and practical aspects. And this is what the birthday party is all about, to celebrate the fact that we're here for another year, and to ask people to help us be here for another year, really. We have other things happening as well. I mean, although our birthday lands on a Saturday, on the 3rd of November, we are also doing things on the lead up to that as well, on the week of the birthday. On the 29th of October, we're having a card making session from 10 o'clock to 12 p.m, where people will be able to make beautiful handmade cards in a friendly and relaxed session led by some of our centre visitors actually. And then on the 30th of October we also have Anna King to lead on a session on journal making, where participants will be able to make a beautiful journal, and that's for people with cancer or their friends and family. And everything on offer at Maggies is free of charge. That's
absolutely brilliant. I mean, that kind of work, I mean, I think everybody involved deserves a medal. Why do you think there's a need for Maggies to take on this kind of work? Why isn't it available as part of the NHS treatment?
I think that there's a need really because from Maggie's own experience, you know, she really felt that she needed somewhere to turn to and someone to go to. Now, the hospitals, they provide excellent care. However, they have to provide this clinical environment, an environment in which they can provide that medical care. Whereas Maggies can be non-clinical. We have these beautiful buildings where there's soft cushions, things that you'll find in your own home, where we can help you relax, find comfort and support you through what is the most difficult time in most people's lives, because it is your world is turned upside down. And you know, the support that we get from the local community is very, very well appreciated, much appreciated, and we hope people will help us be here for another year.
The Maggies Centre in Fife is based just outside the Victoria Hospital in Kirkcaldy, as you say. It's a rather funky looking building.
It is indeed,
yeah, very eye-catching.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It came about because Zaha Hadid, an Iraqi-born architect, she came on board to design a building for Maggies. She was a dear friend of Charles Jenks and Maggie Keswick-Jenks, and she wanted to do something, obviously, in Maggie's memory as well. So she designed this outstanding building for us, and it was actually her first UK building. All our buildings are very striking, and really it comes from, again, Maggie's own experience of spending time in the hospitals, the long corridors, the hospital waiting rooms, and not finding as much comfort in that kind of space and environment. Whereas, you know, she wanted to make sure that the Maggies centres were non-clinical, so when you come into the centres you'll not see any signs on any of the walls or the doors. There's a giant kitchen table in the middle, and again, drawing on what you said earlier about the social aspect of Maggies, it allows people to come and meet each other, to have conversations, share a cuppa, and when you meet people who are experiencing the same thing as you, it gives you that reassurance. And one story that comes to mind is a lady who had actually lost her fingernails due to her treatment and her medication, and she was so worried that they weren't going to grow back, and she was having this conversation at the kitchen table, and another lady who was sitting beside her was able to lean over and show her beautifully painted fingernails and say, look at my fingernails, they're beautifully painted and they grew back. That happened to me, so please don't worry.
That must be so reassuring for somebody in that situation.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And that's the magic that happens in Maggie's, and that's what makes it really special.
I mean, from a man's point of view, that sounds like such a little thing, but I would imagine that would be a huge thing for a woman.
Absolutely.
And, you know, especially when there's so much other emotional distress going on as well. So how can people get involved and help support the work that you do through at Maggie's?
People can get in touch with myself, or they can come and drop into the centre and see my colleague James Forsyth. My telephone number is 07825 056 386. That's 07825 056 386. So if people do want to get in touch, they can let us know what their ideas are, or if they don't have an idea, we're happy to help them as well. We've got lots of things available now. We have online funds that people could create their own online funds to support Maggie's, and this is open for the duration of your whole history of fundraising for Maggie's. We also have tribute funds, so that if you have lost a loved one, you'll be able to remember them lovingly on this fantastic website now, and every activity that you do will be fed into this tribute fund in their loving memory. We also have Sponsor a Day, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, where I said you know, we're encouraging people to sponsor our birthday, but people could actually sponsor a day at Maggie, so their birthdays, anniversaries, a special day for them. And if they're a business, maybe it's the date that your business was open, maybe it's an anniversary of your business, something like that, but we can help set that up, and you will be the people that, or business, that will help make that day possible.
Where do you begin, you know what I mean? But you guys seem to have it all sorted out and know exactly what you're doing. So remind us of that other event you were talking about, the birthday event, just in case people can come along.
Sure. So the birthday event is on the 3rd of November. That's the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. We'd love everybody to come along, and it's happening from 2 to 5 at Maggie's Fife. And we're also We're also inviting people along to the card making on the 29th of October and the journal making on the 30th of October, and these are for people with cancer or their friends and family.
Stu Edwards, thanks for coming along to
Thank
Radio
you
West
so
Fife today,
much.
and all the best with the fundraising. Anything we can do to help, let us know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
you.
Thursday afternoon with David Fortune on Radio West Fife.